On in a second.
All right.
Yeah, he went to the bathroom. Hold up. Let me just turn this off. I don't want to see my own camera on screen.
What do you mean? Oh, you're turning your own. How do you turn your own camera off? I don't know how to do that.
No, you can't. You can't. I'm just turning my OBS camera off.
Oh, smart. Wait, do you have two cameras?
Yeah.
Oh, me too. Look at you, bro. You're fucking improving your setup.
Hello.
Dude, you've changed. What's up, Train?
Hasi. Do I need to turn my camera on?
I mean, if you want to. If you want to show us your beautiful mug.
Brother, first of all, listen. I am sick, so this is a disclaimer, okay? As aggressive as I normally look, it might look just as aggressive.
As long as you fucking cut that Abraham Lincoln ass fucking facial hair off, bro, you'll be fine, I think.
Brother, if you can shave a little bit off that beard and like let me glue it on, hey, we can maybe find a common ground here.
This is like 2019 Scuff Podcast right here.
Yeah, listen. I know some people say, "Oh, dude, Juma Farm or whatever." I've come to terms with the fact that I like you both. Okay, I'm now friends with you both, and I respect you both. Okay, and there are some viewpoints that I agree with on both ends, but I don't agree with the behavior you guys both have towards each other on either end. Okay, so I'm not gonna push drama shit just to farm it. Okay, I think there was two sides to this discussion I want you guys to have, perhaps. One that's more personal and one more ideological. If the one's more personal, first and foremost, goes well, you guys can talk about other stuff. But I just want you guys just to check in because the subtweeting, subclipping has gotten really bad, and I don't mind being in the middle and say, yeah, it's bad. Like it's just bad. I see all that stuff, and then when I watch it, I feel guilty because I'm like, now I'm.
First of all, you should be abandoning. You should be stopping the LSF.
Okay, done.
I'm in agreement with that 100%.
There's no shot you're done.
No, I am actually. I've been done. I asked to be taken off LSF. I purposely tried to get myself banned. They banned me for a little bit, but then the drama was too good for them, so they decided to put me back in, forcibly, against my will, against my wishes. And there's not really much I can do when one of the largest subreddits decides, no, we're gonna still farm off of hatred of you. So much so that like actual fucking Nazis were talking about how they want to murder me, but like haha in a joking way, which ended up getting to the top of that subreddit numerous times with a lot of the supporters of said person fucking enjoying that, talking about how it's funny. Meanwhile, there's a lot of shit that happens there's a lot of shit that happens in the real world that is not so great. Right, that I'm not going to talk about. I don't want to talk about. But yeah, I'm not a fan of LSF. I don't want to be on LSF. Yeah. I am very much in favor of never being on LSF ever again.
I was talking to X.
I'll be back in 1 second. I just want to make sure this is really good and the lighting is good.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Our fucking marriage counselor left.
Okay, so I mean it's fine. We're both adults. Let's hash it out. Train. What is the you got to close your blinds. I think it's blown out. No matter.
Okay, no, I can open them. Maybe should I open?
No matter what happens, it's just too blown out. There's light coming from behind you. Okay, well, now I'm just by myself. All right.
No, bro, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. Anyway, all right, Train, go ahead.
Do you see this? No, hold on, wait. Do you see this when I sit down? Oh no, this is better. This works. This works. Nope, it fucked up again.
You're backlit. That's why.
What does that mean? I'm backlit. So if there's light in the back, the
professional streamer, by the way. Yes, bro. You need light.
I still have a C920. You understand? My camera's like $99.
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, I'm using that as well. I literally also have a C920 on my OBS. Oh my god. This motherfucker put a shirt on. Okay.
Oh my god, you actually look good, X.
Okay, let's hear it. So XQC, you said that there's both sides of this. I don't even know what my side of this is. I don't even know what this is, but let's hear you talk about what both sides of the altercations are, because there's apparently a lot of subtweeting you said is going on.
Yeah, to be fair, I damn, this is actually kind of working, isn't it? Because to be fair, I don't think we're going to find a common ground for the things XQC wants us to talk about. But
no, I don't want you to talk about anything. I want you guys to talk about whether you want to talk about to one another, without being pushed in one direction or not. I know there are some things I spoke with both you guys on and off stream about this.
yes,
And I have a good scope of it. And if you don't want to talk about certain things, you don't have to. Okay? Which is fine. So I think you guys have arguments that you have that are impossible to diffuse because they're ideologies, right? But
well,
I don't think so. I don't think it's like an ideological difference, or maybe it is. I don't know. I actually don't know. I want to hear from Train about what the issue has been.
So let's start from the beginning. Like, right? Should we start from the beginning of?
Sure.
I mean, see, like, here's a good question to see what we're to see what we can so we can figure out what to choose to talk about. Right? What is the goal for this call? If we can come up with a goal for this call, then we can decide what to talk about.
I mean, I'm freestyling. I have, I don't have like any opinion on this. So XUC might have a better.
I don't want to cut you off again. The goal is that you guys stop subtweeting each other and subclipping all the time.
I don't even subtweet Train, to be honest.
Yes, you guys do though. You guys do though.
Like what? When have I subtweeted? Like when I talk about Train, I talk about Train in like very specific ways. I think a lot of people say I'm subtweeting other people, but like I don't know. I legitimately don't know. So if you have an example, this is not a debate. If you have an example, that would be helpful for me to understand what you mean, and then maybe I can clarify.
Okay. Things like whatever. One issue that I've seen in the past, right, is Train will bring up you, right, and then he'll bring up Pokey or whatever, and then you'll watch the clip, and it'll be like, oh, yo, he's like schizoing whatever, and then some of the stuff around the gambling, some stuff. Wait, hold up, I'm not even bringing it back up.
Okay.
Some stuff around like his like charity stuff or whatever, and then your editors come in the middle, and these things are like they're like never ending. And then
my editor is an independent person, though. You guys understand that, right? Like he says whatever the fuck. No, there's not a cop out. If that wasn't a cop out, he wouldn't be ass blasting me more frequently than you. He's canceled me more times than he's canceled you. Let's be fucking real.
But that's completely different, right?
Like if you think that if you want me to control him and if you want me to like tell him not to do these sorts of things, I have no control over him. He doesn't just work for me. He works for a bunch of other content creators. I'm not saying this is a cop out. I can barely fucking control him, quote unquote, which I'm not in the business of doing that to people that I work with anyway. But if I can barely control him to stop fucking blasting my face on the timeline, claiming that I take private jets to fucking Coachella and wear Gucci shirts, which is a meme that he created, and then that meme literally subsequently got me fucking canceled. And numerous other. He made an entire video about how many times he canceled me in 2022. So you guys can go watch that.
But that's completely different, right? The intentions are completely different there. But at the end of the day, right? There's a lot. I mean, listen, if my number one, which is like my head mod or head editor, was spewing dog shit, right, and derailing shit and just spewing absolute dog shit out of his mouth, right, and attacking other streamers and derailing their programs, I would be like, yo, bro, like, the fuck are you doing, right? With this idea that you can't control him, sure, but if you're going to do business with him and he's going to be your number one guy, I do think there should be a certain talk you have with the dude that he's representing you, because that's a fact. I mean, if you're going to push with the other streamers that people like XQC and others need to, moderate their chat from going into other chats, you're telling me that your number one, the one that you're talking to the closest doing your content and arguably is your number one, you have no control over. So how the fuck do you expect others to have control over people that they have no connection with, right?
Yeah. So like I said, there's two different things here. One, as far as like moderating or regulating your communities, you bring up a really good point. There are certain instances, for example, whenever people will say things about Felix, especially, that I disagree with vehemently. Like people will be like, "Oh, he's like toxic. Remember when he got fucking banned from playing Overwatch or whatever?" And I routinely tell those people that is unjustifiable and that is wrong. that they shouldn't actually fucking hold someone to their positions that they no longer hold many years ago just to fucking cancel them. Okay? Like it's ridiculous, it's stupid. It's been like fucking almost a decade. That sort of thing I take issue with. So I do regulate my community, right? And if you think that something is like incorrect or improper that's like going on in your chat, you could do the very same thing as well. As far as like gambling goes, I don't disagree with Ostonox in general, regardless, but I will never be able to control him. I am not in the business of like controlling what my editors say or do. Like that's a whole ass independent human. If he has his own perspective, then yeah, he can address it freely. Like I have no editorial control over him.
Okay, let me push this argument. Do you think that it's a healthy thing to have an editor that is like his own social media person, right? And let him tweet things that are going to look like done on your behalf, even though they're damaging to your views and your goals?
I mean, he already does do that regularly as a meme half the time when it goes awry. But like I said, it doesn't matter because he is his own person. I don't want to subject him to any sort of editorial control.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's difficult to hold the argument that I'm not trying to go against you. I'm just kind of going on with the flow of the convo. I think it's a difficult argument to push to say that you want people to moderate their chats. You want people to like, oh, the chats are the reflection of their streamer, so I'm going to moderate this. When you have your editor going wild on certain topics, like Train's chair did have noticed in the past, and kind of like shitting on for that. So there's one thing that I noticed about his like charity thing, where Ostonox kind of went crazy on it, and there's kind of like nothing done, because I thought that was pretty underhanded and kind of weird.
That was completely disingenuous. In my opinion, if there was any sort of consistency, I'll get to it. If there was any sort of consistency in the ideals that you preach and the ideals that he supports, that charity should be separate. That charity is a system that you would think you and even people that do not like me would support. It's not my charity. It's a system created to
wait. Hold on. I'm lost. What are you guys talking about? I'm confused.
So when I announced the mental health,
you originally were talking about like Ostonox doing the gamble video, right? Like that.
We're talking the derailment. We're talking the derailment of the mental health care program, right? All the slander, the pumping of disinformation onto Twitter and onto Reddit and onto or within your community on Twitch. Like these are the things that I think slowly began to put a fissure between you and I, or put a what's the right word for a wedge between us, right? It's these kind of things. The mental health care program, regardless of your opinion of me or what I do or how I operate my business, that mental health care program is a program in which its primary goal and purpose is to provide access to mental health care for people who otherwise have no access to it financially, right? And it's paid for by the rich, right? Each community streamer puts in, let's say, 100 to 500K or less, however much they want. And that provides access to healthcare that America's backwards system, isn't providing to these people. So that the derailment of that to try and use, I'm a gambler and this and that, he shouldn't be, like, that is a ridiculous system. And let me go one step further. If not me creating it, shouldn't the real question be, why haven't you guys created this system? If you're gonna like bash me for creating it, hey, at least step up and do it better. Step up and do it in the first place. So it's really, for me, that wedge kind of created when I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to make something, which, by the way, the gambling arguments were very disingenuous, because this mental health care program started in 2016, before I even touched gambling on stream. So this idea that was spread around that I did this after gambling to fix my public image is also bullshit. This has been going on since 2016. I've made it clear. Yet, right, these people still are allowed to go on your behalf, or what looks like to be your behalf, and spread this disinformation within the community, which leads to attacks and narratives that literally railroad the program itself across Twitch. Like, that's an issue. Like, these are the things that create the wedges between you and I that maybe you're not aware of. But this is kind of, what's happening, at least in that regard.
You're upset that Ostonox said that you set up your charity to whitewash your reputation after people were criticizing you for gambling. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying? Like, is it?
No, I'm upset that
No,
the
Ostonox,
community.
did Ostonox say that? Because I listen. As far as your gambling on Twitch, I mean, as far as Twitch gambling in general, I had a big problem with that. I talked about it very openly for many, many years. I talked about it personally with XG as well, like privately even. And that's from the jump. I had an issue with that. As far as your own personal charity initiative that you set up, no, it's admirable regardless of what people's personal intentions may be. I don't know what your personal reasoning for why you put that out there. It's great though. I have that's wonderful that you did that. As far as like XG pulling out that video, I am like I
What
said.
video?
Because I'm watching XG as well. He's like pulling up the Ostonox tweet.
Well, I'm just showing people the reference because I think it's important. People don't know.
Can you send it in the group chat so I can also pull it up as well?
I just thought, yeah. Listen. I mean this to the bottom of my heart, okay? Yeah. I don't want to make people think, oh, this is a 2v1 against. There's no sides here. Okay, there just isn't. Okay. This something I saw when it happened, and I took notes of it. We're talking about this first, so this it just kind of looks like a 2v1. Hold on. I can't hear you. Oh, now I can. My Discord is dog shit. It goes in and out every now and then.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah. It's just that I think Ostonox goes like over the rails about certain things, right? In a way that if it went against what you actually believe in, you would probably, I think, correct him. It's just that sometimes,
for sure,
causes a ruckus. But since you're kind of on the same page as him, then you let him get away with it, which I think is a decently unhealthy interaction, which ends up making Train feel like you're pushing his views and then you're kind of approving of his actions.
Okay. So this ultimately will always go back to the gambling debate and the gambling conversation. I don't know if you guys want to have that conversation again, but
we'll have it later because it's a bit heavy.
Yeah, we can.
Well, because the reality is that, like, gambling addiction is very suicidal. It's not good, right? So I think what Ostonox is stating here is that on the one hand, you are contributing to this by promoting it, while simultaneously you're doing a good thing, but you're still contributing to the problem to begin with. And a big part of the funding vehicle still revolves around the money that you're getting from
once again
sponsors.
So two things. Let me interrupt real quick. I apologize, but let me interrupt.
By the way, personally, I don't think I ever talked about this on stream, but I mean, I understand what his sentiment is here. It's not something that I would like turn around and correct.
This sentiment is a false comparison, though. It's a disingenuous false. It's completely disingenuous, right? Because the mental health care program isn't a program in which I created to sit here and say, hey guys, don't do this on stream. Don't do this. Don't behave in this way. It's not me governing the way everyone behaves on the internet. It's a system that is providing access to healthcare. To compare it and say, oh, Train does things on stream that may cause mental health issues for some, and to say he cannot create a system, right? These are two things that aren't comparable whatsoever. I've created a system that provides access to mental health care for people who do not have that access because they don't have the financial means to. I believe mental health care.
No, I think that's a great thing. I think that's a great thing. I don't disagree. I think that is a great thing. Setting up a charity like that is actually a wonderful thing. I think you partnered up with Rad, right? That's what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. I have no issue with that. That's great. I think that objectively, that's a good thing. Regardless, I don't know what your original intention was. If you say that you started in 2016, that's wonderful. Okay.
My core community,
ultimately, I think what I would compare this to, if I were to make a comparison, if I were to understand this through an analogy, I would say, and this is not as damaging, and you're not directly doing as much damage, but are you familiar with Purdue Pharmaceuticals?
Are we really doing this?
I thought you would make a parallel with like a Bezos with like his like homeless a donation, even though that they like lobby against.
No. I mean that could work too. This is a more direct one. If you were like, let's say, a streamer if you were, let's say, a marketer that worked with Purdue Pharmaceuticals, you got paid by Purdue Pharmaceuticals a fat bag, and then after that, you took some of that and then set up a Suboxone clinic that is also still ultimately created by Purdue Pharmaceuticals as well. The methadone or the intermediary drug that people use to get off of heroin originally is also created by Purdue. So they set up a problem, and then they set up a solution to said problem as well. They double on the profit along the way. You're not doing that. I'm not saying that you're doing that at all, okay? Because you're not Purdue Chemical here. You're not Purdue Pharmaceuticals here. You are, however, like taking some of the money that you got from gambling and putting it back into that. I don't know if you want me to like undermine Ostonox's point, but I'm pretty sure that's the point that he's making ultimately, is that like you are contributing to the problem by spreading further gambling addiction and then simultaneously helping some of the people recover. Now, ultimately, it's larger than that. Addiction is a much larger lifelong problem, and that I do think that it's a good thing, and there will be people that will be benefiting from you facilitating their mental health treatment. So I think that it's ultimately a good thing. And I applaud you for doing it.
Okay. Yeah, I think, okay, I'm gonna be honest, okay, this is the feeling that I'm getting through talking to both of you guys. That's kind of like the vapors that I'm getting from all this.
Yeah.
Is that since Ostonox is rambling about it like that in a negative light, that goes directly to undermine, make the programs look bad, look worse, make train look like a hypocrite or stupid. When he does this, and you lay finally the radar, it makes Train feel, from what I feel in the past, that you approve of it, and that you're kind of like almost like green lighting the whole thing, and it creates a wedge between you two, because then he sees you as Hasan Ostonox's whole vibe, right? Because if Ostonox said something you didn't agree with him, you probably correct him. So since you don't correct him, he feels like you agree with him. That's how he feels.
Again,
I think,
but I also don't agree with one. I have, once again, I'm going to repeat myself here. I have no control over Ostonox, and you're asking me to check him on behalf of yourself in this situation. If it was something that was like for example, if Ostonox like tried to implicate you in the cover up of a sexual assault or something like that, and I knew for a fact that you had nothing to do with that, I would immediately hit up Ostonox and be like, that's not something you should do. I think that is unacceptable. I don't think that you agree with this. Or even if he did agree with it, I would ask him why, and I would probably try to correct the record. Okay? That's one thing I would do in that circumstance, because I think it's not because he's associated with me, by the way. I don't care about that, because I do think that he is his independent person, but because I treat him with dignity and respect. I think he's a peer and a very talented one, and I think that he would be doing something wrong in that situation. That's what I would do in that circumstance. In this one, as far as the possible negative implications of him associating you with someone who is promoting gambling and therefore creating more gambling addiction, therefore creating more people that might need mental health treatment, I don't disagree with the main point that he's putting out there.
Disingenuous representation of like it's completely disingenuous. I enjoy gambling, and I gamble, right? I've done it since the beginning. In every video game I could. I've done it since I've started streaming, right? So if I'm gambling, okay, and I'm putting the precautions out there, to draw this conclusion that I'm the problem is with what you're saying, it sounds like I'm intentionally creating this, then creating a system as a result to my guilt of creating that.
I don't
right?
think you intentionally.
But that's the way it's presented. You understand? Like it's presented as if I've disingenuously grabbed the bag. I don't like gambling. I go live. The effect of it is this. I feel guilty now that I'm rich. I've created a program to cover my That's the way it's presented. And that is completely disingenuous, and it's leaving out a lot of the facts. It's leaving out the truth to push certain narratives, right? And that's the issue, right? That's the problem. My responsibility as a streamer is to not deceive viewers and trick them into starting something based off of a false reality, right? So if I enjoy gambling, I believe I can gamble. If you enjoy drinking, right? You can drink. If you enjoy smoking a cigarette, you can smoke a cigarette. Obviously, give the precautions, give this and that. To mix,
yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different when you're getting paid by, Marlboro, though, right? Like, and you're you're doing the equivalent of like
I don't think so.
Facing an entire pack, but
if Marlboro, no, because listen, if I gamble like this off stream and gamble on stream, right, and I'm being paid for, my contract is only exclusivity. It's if you gamble, use this site. That's my contract. I don't have affiliate codes. I don't have to hit a certain number of hours. I mean, the last 3-4 months, right? I got paid the same, yet I streamed for what, 1/4, 1/5 the time. My contract is exclusivity and pure exclusivity. That's all it is. So it's like Marlboro is saying, hey, if you're gonna smoke a cigarette on stream like you already are, just smoke our brand, right? That's the difference.
Yeah, look, we've debated this subject into the ground. I feel like it's not good content at this point. I mean,
this isn't about content.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think that there's a part of gambling that you guys are forgetting to that people are kind of like letting go of, right? Some of the semantics are pretty important around it. I think we could have a small new discussion about the importance of the semantics, because sometimes we get caught up. Okay, let's just move on from that. We can put gambling later, because this thing, I'm telling you now, this will devolve like crazy. Okay.
Well, no. Let's finish the gambling topic, right?
What is the whole thing?
Yeah, let's finish the gambling talk, and then we can move to socialism, and from there we can move to whatever the fuck else, right? Like,
okay, sure.
So let me ask you this, okay? So if these are your views on gambling, right? Where's the consistency in them? Right? You and others spent so long, right, coming at me, right, and talking about the gambling that I do, when there is actual predatory, shady shit going on, whether it's affiliate codes, whether it's only showing wins, whether it's sports betting, which, by the way, I don't know if you've looked at the statistics on that. Sports betting is most prevalent in underage. It's the most underage for underage gambling. It is the most done thing for underage children, right? Sports betting. Right, the very platform you stream on has a deal with sports betting. Sports betting ads are played everywhere, right? Your friends have sports betting deals.
I am absolutely in agreement with you on that as well.
Where's the outrage, though?
Well, I have actually routinely and consistently covered not only sports betting being awful across the board and really damaging across the board for Twitch, which, of course, they, after shutting down Stake, still continued to announce their partnership with other websites and other platforms where you can engage in sports betting. I've also talked about the larger consequences of sports betting becoming more normalized in professional sports, in the NFL, the league being literally sponsored by DraftKings and whatnot. And I do think that has really damaging implications. This is something that I have consistently talked about. I've even brought it up in videos where I've talked about stake and gambling as well. So like I said, in a lot of instances, I think Felix is right. People like to see, people will see a clip, get upset about that clip, and not really look at everything that I'm stating, everything that I've talked about, and immediately rush to find something that maybe shows hypocrisy or whatever in their mind. But it's oftentimes, just a clip that was clip chimped and not the main point. This is something that I think is wrong. So I agree with you. If you want to join that support, I mean, I've talked about it. I've literally pushed against legislation that would legalize it as well. So even in the state of California. So this is something that I have been very consistent on.
Okay,
there's a video of it if you want to watch as well.
I feel like not only you're involved.
Now that I know,
other people, I feel like in general, people have been very adamant about advocating against a certain thing and say, "Oh yeah, but we're against the rest." But whenever the first thing kind of went out, right? Everybody started not caring. Nobody cared. I feel like there needs to be.
Okay, but you're talking to someone who does care, and regardless of whether or not I'm still consistently pushing for it, which I am. But even if I wasn't here, by the way, if you want to see my thoughts on sports betting in general, I just linked to a video in the Discord that is just purely about sports betting, by the way, unrelated to you or unrelated to crypto gambling in general. But just purely my takes on that.
Don't you feel like there's a disingenuous line of how much time spent on one versus the other, briefly mentioning it in a video or talking about it,
No. This is well, that's a 20-minute snapshot of one of the many instances where I've talked about it.
You and your friends spent a year and a half pushing for the banning of gambling and then moved the goalpost once Twitch came out and said they were going to selectively ban gambling, right? It is everywhere on the platform. Twitch itself has a deal. Amazon has a deal.
I agree. I think it's bullshit
everywhere. So like,
I
where's
agree.
the same outrage? Where's the same boycotting and threatening of boycotting of the major ad months? Like where was this? It stopped when I couldn't gamble on stream. It stopped when I couldn't. As soon as that went away, right?
If anything, I think that one, I think Stake getting hammered basically cut the directory by a lot. I don't know the exact numbers, but obviously if there is like one bad thing, right?
Yes.
And then there's another bad thing as well on top of that. If you're able to just make do with whatever you can, with wherever you can exercise any kind of collective action, it's good, right? The existence of other bad things does not negate the existence of one bad thing, which is what I think a lot of people did. They understand their powerlessness in the face of large corporations that are constantly profit-seeking. So they took a dub and they moved on. It wasn't a personal slight against you, but more so that people, I assume others, saw something happening in their own environment, in their own platform, did not like it, and tried to put an end to it. And they put an end to at least some of it. There's always compromise, and I think this was basically the compromise. I think Twitch knowingly, put stake up at the stake and executed it in an effort to continue doing gambling, but by other means.
I think my point to all of this is I would just like to see some consistency, because it feels like the topics that you or others are passionate about come down to like streamer politics and streamer narratives. Like that's all. Like if you push for anti-gambling, if you push for this, I just want to see consistency among all of it, right? Whether it's sports betting,
like
whether
slots,
it be poker. Well, listen, poker is, I think, a major, like right now, I believe all the poker, listen, I don't believe poker, sports betting, or slots or blackjack should be banned, right? I think it's fine. I think.
Wait, can I just show something really quickly? By the way, it seems like slots took a massive nosedive, going from like average concurrent viewers being consistently in the 40Ks to basically just like less than half. It's growing again, but there's 10K,
2 sections.
9K.
Well, there's 2 sections for it now, right? So what you want to look at is the slot section and now the virtual casino section. So now there's 2 sections that are massive, and it's still being ran by, and primarily unlicensed casinos in the U.S., which I would argue the licensing argument is a little disingenuous, considering the fact the only difference there is whether the U.S. government has their hand in the pot or not, which is another thing, right? Yeah, which is another thing. The goalpost gets moved in regards to that topic, right? On one hand, the U.S. government doesn't, right, whether it's what you preach or others, the U.S. government can't be trusted to look out for, the people's best interests. But then when it comes to gambling, suddenly the U.S. government is credible, right? It has to be U.S. licensed, and then it's okay. Like, it makes no sense. I just want consistency throughout everything, through and through. And a good example of this is for the poker stuff, right? The excuses being made for the poker stuff is very disingenuous. This idea that poker is a game of skill, sure, at the 0.001% professional levels, yeah, I'd agree with that. It minimizes the gambling going on. But the 99% are playing it just like any other fucking table game, blackjack or whatever the case might be. So
you're talking to someone who not that long ago turned down an offer of $500,000 to play poker on stream. So I'm probably not the best person to be asking or talking about these sorts of things. And the reason for why I did that is because, well, one, while I do think that poker at least has some level of skill, it is not as easily accessible.
At the top levels.
I still personally, but it doesn't matter. I still personally.
It does matter because the 99%.
I don't know how to play. I don't know how to play. So I don't know how to fucking play poker. I literally cannot watch someone playing poker and be like, all right, I'm going to do the same thing. There is definitely a level. There's definitely an additional layer there, but I don't know why we're debating on like the minutia and the difference
because there should be
in different kinds of
right?
skill.
Like,
I understand that, Train, but I already said that the other bad things happening, right, does not negate or take away from the fact that like one bad thing was eliminated from the platform.
Yeah, but one bad thing was eliminated because you and other streamers decided to make a very big deal about it. And when that one bad thing got eliminated, you went quiet. Why not continue your crusade? Why not continue with the same passion and motivations? This is my issue. It feels targeted.
I do advocate for a lot of things, including Twitch's Twitch's
then,
gambling.
Let me bring up the point then. I think it's Train is like missing a piece that's kind of important, right? Seems like Train is here, Hasan is there. Then the gambling happens, and then obviously you and other people are like crusading against Train and gambling, which is fair enough since the cause.
And at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break.
Somebody who's also close to you that you.
And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe.
There's a big poker tournament, right? A massively sponsored.
Don't gamble on the top of the hour ad break.
Ninja, whatever, right? Which is promoting gambling. It was in the casino. It was just pure gambling it, right? And there isn't the same sort of outrage / comments / crusade against that behavior, and it's not like doing it, which is somebody who's close to you. So why do we not see the same sort of action?
I think powerlessness. Some people might. Okay, I can't speak for everyone else, but I can say from my own perspective. Some people feel powerless in the face of a multi-billion-dollar industry that is making a permanent space for themselves by pushing legislators to ease restrictions and regulations, whether it be DraftKings or numerous other ways to gamble. And I think that is seen as like an impossible thing to combat. So people have just basically taken the dub and just moved on because they don't even want to think about it. This happens very frequently. They see it as like a compromise, probably. And they're like, all right, well, this is a battle that we can pick and choose. This is one aspect of it, and this is one aspect of it that they see as like a minor W in the grand scheme of things, and that's probably why they've moved on, I assume.
Well, it seems a little convenient, right? Like others do it, no one says anything. Yet when I was doing it, years and years of pushing, right, all the streamers banding together, and then I mean, look at this. TwitchCon was announced to be in Vegas, and everyone's silent. Not even that is enough to stir up shit. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Well,
like,
there are a lot of convention centers. I think that's probably the reason why they did it there. No. But I look, but for the record, you're trying to make me argue other people's perspectives, and I can't do that because I don't know. I don't want to do that.
I'm not trying to argue other people's perspectives. All I'm asking is a consistency. This idea that when it was around me, right, and this isn't just the individual, one-off where it's only happened with me for gambling. And
also, I love gambling, right? Like I literally took Felix to a fucking casino when he was in Vegas. I don't have a problem with gambling. I like gambling personally. Okay. There's a difference between what I like to do versus what I do on fucking camera. And what I see as like promotional and what I get paid to do. Like I have gambled. I have a fucking gold, like, what am I? I think I'm a gold level at the M group. Okay. I go to Aria. Like that's the hotel I go to. Did you not know any of this? You could have just like asked the XQC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my perspective overall, okay, is that gambling is ingrained everywhere, right? And we can break down what is gambling. But gambling is crazy. It's everyone on Twitch, right? And it seemed like all the efforts to go against Gamba felt like they were against the top dogs on the Gamba sections. Once that was done, everybody moved on from all types of gambling, whether it'd be poker, slots, sporting. It's like everyone went flat and radio silent, which felt disingenuous and felt targeted and was a crusade against individuals and not against the system. And that's how the people felt, in my opinion.
Okay, that's your feeling. I don't know what the individual motivations were from every single person, and I can't speak on it. But my own personal perspective has been pretty open from day one and pretty consistent too.
Okay.
So to kind of go back to what let me answer this. So I think what I was asking for was just the consistency of the application of these standards that were only set on me. And this isn't a one-off situation, right? Let's go back to the Gordon Ramsay days, right? I can point out an exact pattern for you yourself.
I love this.
Yeah, I mean, is it not the same thing? I watched Gordon Ramsay.
Wait, I want to know where this comes from. I love this one.
Do you not remember?
Dude, I want to know why you say this all the time, because like I've always been a fucking React Andy, and if I had criticized you for straight up watching an entire episode,
you did.
If I then well, okay. First of all, my community and who you think my core community, or what you think of me in general,
vocal
is entirely
minority
different.
motherfuckers. Yeah, those cucks.
No. See, this is what you pair up with all the time. Okay. I have to make a note here. I've been a React Andy since day one. That's 100% true, and you know it. I've been watching shows and watching fucking YouTube videos on my stream since day one because I don't play video games.
When I did the Gordon Ramsay stuff,
I always thought it funny that you like said I was on a crusade against you for the Gordon Ramsay shit.
Brother, I was being pushed by you. And listen, I remember this specifically because I found it extremely hypocritical that, because the arguments I was seeing was Train is exploiting the workers at Fox and he's stealing it from them. He should be sued and jailed, right? And then you covered it a couple times. Sure, there was days where you gave me
I said you exploited workers at Fox?
No, this was a narrative within the core community, right?
Wait, whose core community? Not mine.
Right? Reddit's at the time. Yes, yours.
If they were saying that, Train,
yes, they were. I remember a time.
Okay, there's no way that people in this community or people said this in my chat, because that would directly target myself as well. So how could they be a fan of mine? I know you're gonna say they're hypocritical and it doesn't matter, but like it literally doesn't make sense.
When it comes to me, this is the whole point of this. This is all I ask.
Train. If you're gonna say that they're on Reddit and that's why they're saying it, you have to understand like there's a difference. Like you have held on to this grudge for a long time, and I've always been very confused. I've always been very confused as to where that came from, and I think I'm gonna need some mediator Felix takes in here, since it's not gamble related, and you can actually be the referee. Train is stating that I have been. Train is stating that I've been like.
Can I state what I'm stating? Like, can I state it, please?
Okay, state it.
Thank you. Listen, in the Gordon Ramsay days, okay, your core community, not everybody, obviously we shared a lot of viewers back then, right? Your core community, the more vocal minority political ones, right? They and yourself, there were days where you kind of dismissed me like, nah, whatever, right? But there were days you went in on certain Reddit posts. Back then I was actually viewing Reddit like that, right? Where you were supporting the pushing of the narratives of me doing a terrible thing watching Gordo. And then what happened a year later?
I would love to see that video. If you have a video of it, like I would love to. I would actually love to see that, because that would be shocking to me, especially because since
a lot of things
would
be shocking. I mean, the CS:GO thing too. CS:GO cases came out for that. Competitive Among Us.
Since day one, first of all, Among Us, CS:GO, these are things that I did not talk about you in any way.
CS:GO cases. There was a time where I was opening every day for like a year and a half. Every day I did $2,000 worth of CS:GO cases, and the same arguments for gambling were pushed then, right? Yet everyone was opening them. Yet
okay, but you have to say how I have contributed to this. You can't constantly say your community on Reddit were pushing for this.
You were part of the groups that were pushing for this thing. So were you standing up and not saying a word about it?
That's wild. I can't. I like that's insane. I'm sorry. Like that's crazy.
We'll agree to disagree there. I mean,
I've never done that. I don't know why you're saying I'm doing it, and like communities that I'm a part of are doing it. Like you got to give me. You got to give me something. You got to give me something.
Okay, let me give you this. Let me give you this. Why do you think it was so shocking for everyone when you and Pokey and the others began to watch Gordon Ramsay a year later? Why do you think there was drama around that? There wouldn't be drama there wouldn't be an issue.
There's drama around me when I buy a fucking shirt. There's people in this. There's people in Excuses chat right now that are fucking still bringing that shit up, or buying a house. There's drama around everything I do.
No, there's drama around the hypocrisy, around the heat that I got, and you guys watching it. I wouldn't be brought up if you guys watched it a year later and you got hate for it. Do you understand? I was brought up.
There's drama around me watching or Pokey watching a show because people love shitting on streamers. No, you should know this. You're a streamer. People shit on you all the time, sometimes unjustifiably.
No shot. Brother, there was drama specifically between, like, I was being brought up in that. Everyone knew it. I remember the years when I was getting heat, and then you guys decided to watch it on stream a year later. it blew everyone's minds. People that didn't even watch
Train,
me.
I was watching 90 Day Fiance when you were watching Gordon Ramsay. So I don't know why you're saying this. Like it literally is something that I've been it's literally been something that I'm not only an advocate for. I am such a firm believer in not giving a shit about IP.
Started on my second round of Gordon Ramsay. The hate I'm referring to was the first round of Gordon Ramsay. I created the. You
once again, I have to reference something here. I have been a React streamer from the jump. Okay, a React streamer, literally from the jump. I've always reacted. Not only that, but I also do not believe in IP personally, so much so that I've allowed everyone to literally do whatever the fuck they want with my IP. That's why there's like 1,000 different fucking HasanAbi fan channels out there, some of which have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, some of which have literally YouTube check marks, and some of them get demonetized by YouTube. YouTube is constantly trying to get me to fucking take their... YouTube is constantly trying to get me to take them down, and I still advocate for them to maintain... their monetization. I don't care about IP. If you think that I think that you were exploiting Gordon Ramsay or anyone else, I don't believe that.
I think you have the time frames messed up, right? The time I'm referring to of when I was watching Gordo, you were not reacting yet. You understand? You were not, the first year of your streaming, you were not reacting. That was the year that the Gordon Ramsay stuff started. You understand? It was before you started your reacting phase. You understand me? It was during that time. This idea that you were reacting side by side with me is not the truth. When I watched Gordon Ramsay,
it is the truth. I don't think you were watching me, but it's fine. Felix, you pulled something up there. What was that? Was that like one guy in my chat or something?
Bro, I'm trying to find it as hard as I can. I mean, listen, I'm trying to support both sides. I'm looking for clips of both sides. All I see is a clip of Train, and he's molding in this clip. About the fact that you called him out. For the Gordon Ramsay days, and it seemed like it was maybe 2 years ago.
Okay, but is there any clip in there of him reacting to me saying something about Train directly reacting? Because I doubt it. I've been a reactor from the jump.
I think overall people were very much against the stealing of shows in their entirety.
I've never been against that. I'm so pro that. I do it all the time. I got fake DMCA'd. And people fucking loved it, if you recall.
Yeah, I'm looking for clips of both right now. But listen, all I see is Train molding about a certain clip or thread that happened in the past. I guess I still can't find the clip.
Okay, but if you can't find the proof, are you willing? Yeah, if you want to make amends, Train. If you can't find the proof, are you willing to let go of this whole Pokey and Hasan are here? You want to link that to me? That would be great. But if you're willing to make amends here, would you be willing to drop that I've been an advocate against you from day one for reacting because I have been a reactor myself? I don't know.
The reacting, yes, you have been a reactor yourself, but not during the time that I was watching Gordon Ramsay, the initial period.
Okay, but you got to find some, because I legitimately don't know what you're talking about when you say this all the time, and you have.
It was during the period that you were playing Fortnite, Call of Duty, and doing some political content. It was during that time. It was before the
when
reaction
I was playing
periods.
Fortnite off of a fucking GoPro camera on my PlayStation, which is how I started off of a PlayStation Eye camera. I still would react to shit. You want to know how? I would literally put up the congressional testimony from Mark Zuckerberg.
Political stuff. We're not talking. Yeah. We're talking about the watching of shows. We're not referring to political reacting. We're talking about watching of shows. Listen. The point of this conversation is to shed light why both of us feel as if we have been jabbing each other. Right? I'm just showing that.
No, but I don't even know where it comes from. I don't know where you're coming from with respect to this. So if you have proof, and if you find here's the thing. Yeah, okay. I'm willing to apologize. If I have said something that you truly were genuinely upset about, and it's not just some guy on Reddit or whatever the fuck. If you find something and you show me, I will literally apologize to you, because I don't think I ever did that. You have been saying this for so long though that it's basically it basically became permanent in your mind, and also in the minds of many people in your community and in other communities as well. So I'm telling you, if there is a moment where I have shit on you, if I've said oh dude, fuck that guy Train, reacting to fucking videos is all he does, I hate that, or whatever the fuck, I will genuinely apologize to you, but I don't think there is a clip.
Okay, guys, I've dug in a bunch of clips, a bunch of stuff. Okay. I think we kind of have to let this go because one, I think that the comments that Hasan made, I think the stuff that you were saying were a little bit subjectively, a little bit like slide.
Wait, what comments did I make? What comments did I make? No. But like, it's important. This is important because this is something that he's been saying for.
Okay,
this is something that Train has been saying for a while. Okay,
yeah, so
this is something that he's been saying for a while. The only thing I was able to find is him actually shitting on you, XQC. For the live streams haters about the Gordon Ramsay thing from 4 years ago. Here, I found the clip.
Well, I think Trump's a dumb fuck. I don't
TOS and
me because I should.
That's what the argument was. That I'm DMCA.
So it's not even about me. I think Train thinks like you were the one who fucking yelled at him or whatever the fuck, and then he like thinks it's me.
And I'm breaking TOS.
I remember it was you.
Okay.
It was you and others.
Do you remember it was me, or do you want it to be me because it's a more appropriate person to yell at?
Look, this tweet right here.
I'm not yelling at you. I don't
Gordon
want
Ramsay
it
says,
to be you.
"Hey, Twitch, can I get on what you are?" Right? Because Gordon Ramsay was like, I guess, molding the people reacting to his content, and you reply, Hasan, he says, "It's a platform where we watch you every day." I think it's fair to assume you're referencing Train spamming Gordon Ramsay content in a sly way. Right?
Wait, what? I was watching Gordon Ramsay at that point, Felix.
That was way after Felix. That was.
I was watching him. I was watching him.
Like 2017.
Yo, chill.
But like this is important. This is important to me now because I hate that like
because
it's minor things like this get misconstrued in the minds of a lot of people, and then they go, "Oh, Hasan is a fucking hypocrite." So that was me. I was watching him at the time.
Let's say I was a dumb chatter. Then you rolled me. That's a good thing.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. People don't give a fuck about that. They operate off of vibes. Anyway, the only clip I found was 4 years ago. Train responding to live stream fails haters about XQC watching Gordon Ramsay. I linked it in the Discord if you want to watch it.
4 years ago. 4 years ago was 2019, correct? This would be 2017, 2018.
2020.
Okay, but like you gotta bring something here because I am telling you honestly.
I'm bringing my memory.
God.
That's what I'm bringing.
No, you can't do that,
man. You expect me to have clips
Bro,
from 6 years ago on hand and ready.
I said this on stream. If I've said this on stream, you should be able to, like, literally, you've been talking about it since. Wait, did you say 2017?
I said like end of 2017, 2018. It was when I was still living with Mitch.
Dog, I literally started streaming like consistently in the second half of 2018. I started my first day streaming was 2018, I think March. I did not know who you were back then. I had no idea who you were.
That's what I'm saying. So when I started,
why would I have talked about you? I don't know who you are. I didn't know anything about Twitch.
The Gordon Ramsay went on from I started the reacting stuff like 2017, end of 2017, beginning of 2018, all the way through to 2019, right? And that's when you and other streamers pushed on to the hate because I was getting a lot of attention. I was watching Gordon Ramsay. I was one of the, I was up to 23,000 viewers at the time compared to now.
The main LSF clip that you're referencing, I think you got your days fucked up, and maybe it's not your fault. But the main LSF clip that you're referencing is from, I guess, 3 years ago, maybe. I'm not entirely certain. It was our articles were written on it in 2019. TrainWrecksTV streams MasterChef on Twitch for 3 hours without being punished.
Okay, then it's 2018, 2019.
Okay,
that's what
I started streaming in 2018. I did not become a full-time streamer until 2020. I was on your shows on the Scuff podcast and found out about you, I think, at some point in 2019.
Yes.
So if you're saying that this is when I actually fucking shit on you, okay, I think you're wrong because by that point I had switched over.
It was before you were reacting to.
I also not only that, but I also have apparently in 2021 recognized you as the OG MasterChef. Andy has spoken.
Yes, I saw that. That was after that was around the time you started watching yourself.
So you have no evidence for your statements. I have proven that not only have I supported you for being the OG MasterChef React Andy, giving you giving you your.
After the years of shit,
when you have no evidence as to me doing this, and I'm literally telling you.
Evidence. Listen, I don't need to have evidence.
You do.
I know I do not.
Of course, you need to have evidence.
Brother, I'm telling you what I went through during those times when I was watching it. This is what happened. Do you understand that? That's what I'm telling you. This is what happened. You sat there and you pushed poured the hate. You let it happen. You reacted to it. You didn't say anything of it, and then you started watching it yourself.
Hold on,
a year later.
Hold on. That's a lot of things you just said. Did I let it happen? Did I not defend your honor? Or did I directly attack you? Did people in my community say that? Because what you need to understand here is you just lumped up a bunch of different things in here. And I don't think you have evidence for any of these
semantics
things.
Now.
I don't know. This is profoundly important,
yikes.
I think.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think again. It might have been a combination of small things or not a big thing.
Well, at this point, I feel like I'm arguing against your demons. Like that's wild.
We can't. Hey, don't say that. We cannot. Okay, personal insults. Chill. I don't think. Okay, listen. We're not.
No, I wasn't even being insulting. I'm saying like it's a fabrication. Like what am I supposed to do?
It's not a fabric, brother. Listen. If this was only me saying this and others were like, and everyone was saying, "Nah, you're."
Who else is saying it?
Listen, when you started watching it, do you not remember the hate that was pushed toward everyone, specifically regarding the hate that I got from you guys versus you guys now watching it? There was so many streamers who commented on it. No. You understand? Like, okay then. Let's move on. We'll agree to disagree.
No, I'm not kidding. I don't think a single person came to me and said that.
It might have been small things, big things. Well, now we can't find it. We have to move on. That's just how it is. Okay. If that's how you felt.
Okay. I guess we're moving on from this. But hold on. Look, if we're making amends, can you say that you might be misremembering certain things? Or
no.
Because if you have something and you show it to me, I will genuinely apologize to you. Do you understand? Because in that moment, I would be in the wrong. I would be hypocritical. If you want to make amends, this is how you're supposed to make amends. If you have an instance, if you have a video, because I was streaming at the time, I've been streaming, you've been talking about this for years and years. If you think that this is the original culminating like divide between your community and my community, between you and I, if that's what you think is a really important enough thing, right? You should. If you bring it up to me, I will apologize to you.
Guys,
wait. No, let me respond.
Good.
It's not so much an important thing to me. It's more so a showing of pattern. That's why I brought it up, right? It's a showing of pattern that whenever I do something,
but you can't show a pattern without any evidence whatsoever. Especially when I'm saying like I would literally apologize to you if it's actually a thing that I did. Because right now it seems like you're placing a lot of blame on me for comments that you got on Reddit from God knows whoever the fuck. And let's be real, if there's one enemy of Reddit that is maybe sometimes a bigger enemy than you, but not often, but sometimes a bigger enemy than you, it's me. So I don't think people on Reddit like me. The only time they like me is when you went so far overboard with like Hasan is a fucking piece of shit that they were like, all right, maybe we're going a little too harsh on this guy. That is the last time that Reddit actually defended me, and probably the first time, and we'll never do it again.
Yeah. Listen,
I sent my bot. I sent my people. Okay. To look for clips and stuff like that, okay? Once we go back to this later on, okay, whether they found or not, I guess they take the proper measure. Right now, when we have no evidence, we cannot make a call. I can't make one of these apologize or moderate in a nice way. We have nothing on hand. We have to go and change topic, otherwise we will not get anywhere.
Okay. No. It's good. It's good. I just want to make sure though that like, you know, people understand that I want Train to understand first and foremost that like this is not something that I believe. This is not something that I think I ever said about you. But this is something that truly, I guess it hurt your feelings. So I want to make sure that you understand that is not my position at all. And
it's not that it hurt.
It's not that it hurt my
feelings. It's not that it hurt my feelings. It's just a showing of pattern. Like every single time I do something, the streamers, they come together. And they push for my cancellation. They push for Train is evil.
I don't know, dude. Come on, Train.
Come on. No, that's a come on back to you. Come on,
what
bro.
do you mean come on back to me? Is this going to be like mostly because the way I see it? I'll be brutally honest. The way I see it is like I have actively tried to avoid conflict because I don't want to get I'll be honest. You have a sizable community. You've been a fucking big dog in the scene for a very long time. I've actively tried to avoid conflict with you. Because I don't want people to like constantly fucking come into my chat and like bring me into drama. Okay. I am not like, I know everybody loves saying like Hasan loves inserting himself in a drama or whatever, but usually until something is like newsworthy or something goes too far, I don't usually talk about shit. Okay. I don't care about it enough. This is the 20th anniversary of America's unjustifiable invasion of Iraq. That's what I was talking about all day for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm covering usually when I'm not doing like dumb reacts or whatever. So for me in particular, if you are saying like, oh, all these streamers are getting together, all these streamers are actually fucking yelling all these things about me, and you add me onto that without any sort of like serious evidence to back it up, then I'm only arguing against your own personal perspective and your own personal assessment of a situation that may or may not be real.
Okay, so you're gaslighting me now. That's what you're saying.
We had this conversation apparently on Twitter as well. It's not even you that I'm upset at. It's your core community that brigaded all the Gordon hate threads and now sit there with no fucking shame enjoying their time.
Yeah.
I hate motherfuckers like that. All of them should be ashamed. I said, listen, I at least admit you were first. Also, I've been a React Andy before it was the meta. And I said, why would my community of React enjoyers brigade? It's not even you that I'm upset at. It's your core community that brigaded all the Gordon hate threads and now sit there with no fucking shame enjoying their time.
Yeah.
I hate motherfuckers like that. All of them should be ashamed. I said, listen, I at least admit you were first. Also, I've been a React Andy before it was the meta. And I said, why would my community of React enjoyers brigade others reacting, lol? And you said, don't play stupid. Leave that to the ASMR streamers. I said, you are wrong on this 100%. Ironic, that's what the hate thread said then too. And that's it. That's where like the conversation ended. But
I'm forcing to move on, guys. I swear, and we'll go back to this chat, guys, with actual proof of something. Okay. Listen. Another topic I saw the other day. See, this is what I mean by the subtweeting it, which causes, I think, a lot of harm in both the communities. Okay, it's Hasan on Train undermining his Turkey earthquake fundraiser and calls him out for promoting crypto gambling. Why did this happen? Why did it start? And why did it start?
I think Hasan focused on a part of a clip that wasn't even my intention. And
wait, someone in your community found something.
Make it full time.
In my community,
yeah, it's quite easy. Just do a few squatties here or there.
In my community,
job, mate.
In your subreddit.
Yeah, instead you should take a book out of Greek's page here and just watch YouTube videos all day and go.
Hey,
I'm gonna take a piss while you guys review that. I can hear you guys. I have wireless headphones.
Wait, what the fuck? Literally me shitting on Greek, and then wait, what? They're saying this is shameless fuckingness. Is on caught in 4K on Scuff? Wait,
they took. Don't even watch that.
Okay, they took a meme. They took a meme of me like shitting on Greek as a joke, like literally me making a joke on the Scuff podcast. Took it seriously and thought that was hypocrisy. I don't even know if that's actually the case.
Listen, but whether just that or not, I think she probably.
I have so much fucking evidence as to why, like, I have been so consistently against fucking
at this point,
people losing their shit over reacting.
Well, I do agree, right? That until we find evidence of you doing shit,
yeah, but there's evidence to the contrary and no evidence on the other side. So at a certain point, we have to. There's an overwhelming amount of evidence from my end showing that I've like been an advocate for reacting to shit, saying that all content is derivative. Like, why is this even a point of contention at this point? At a certain point, you got to be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I was wrong on this. That's all I'm expecting. That's all I want. That's how amends are made, right?
Yeah, for sure. Then let's not jump the gun and make sure we come back to this in like a couple minutes, right? That we have all the information that we need. Otherwise, we have to fix the problem and fix a new problem for no reason. Okay. I do agree that evidence to the contrary seems a little bit heavier, right? Unless we find something.
I disagree.
Well, I couldn't find anything. So I think you have a lot of points on a lot of topics, and Hasan has a lot of points on a lot of topics. I think
what are the points? What are the points that he brought up? He didn't what?
I said on other topics. I said on other topics.
It feels like. Listen, here's the issue. Okay. Sorry, I had to do a little juice up. It feels as if the goalpost keeps moving on regards to how much control we have over our communities and what we preach and what we let them spew. Right. At the end of the day, let's even go back to that tweet, right, where I said my issue isn't so much with you, it's with your community, right? When you let communities spew shit and you do nothing, in my opinion, that's a passive siding, right? It's a passive siding. You understand? And then you do it yourself, and there's all support within that.
Wait, like, so you're mad? Wait, so now you're saying Originally, you said I was like championing and spearheading the cause of like you being a React Andy.
Yes, I'm still.
Now you're saying I wasn't defending you for when people were shitting on you for being a React Andy.
No. Combine the two together. I still stand by the original. I'm giving you another example to what you've shown. So since I cannot show the first one, although I do remember it very clearly.
Train, in 2019, I think I had a concurrent viewership of 35 viewers. I don't think you were talking about me. Let's be fucking real. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was barely fucking hitting.
It was during the times where you were picking up traction. It was during those times.
Ryan, I sent
and
my
you think I wasn't defending you
as
like a fucking 300 viewer Andy or something, max out at 300?
No. It was while you were still larger. It was. Listen,
what year? What year are you talking about?
Brother, we have to dive into the years. It was the year that I was watching Gordon Ramsay.
We need to use actual facts in this.
It was the original. Brother, but listen. You're trying to debunk something by these specific facts that, in my opinion, are. Listen, it's the year I was watching Gordon.
But that's how this works.
It was the year I was watching Gordon Ramsay. It was the year that I was watching Gordon Ramsay and no one else was.
I can't address something that you claim I did if we don't like look at the time frame and develop a better understanding of what happened in that moment. I'm trying to literally, like right now, it feels like I'm just trying to defend myself against your own personal feelings in the matter, which is why I'm trying to be like, well, look, let's look.
I figured it out. Okay, Okay. I sent my best bots to find every piece of evidence. Okay. And the bot even they admitted to me.
Wait, fuck. I'm missing. You're getting.
They admitted 100%. Okay. That unfortunately on this issue, there's no supporting evidence of Train's point. And a little bit of supporting of Hasan's counterpoints that he's they're a little bit, brother. Saying yo guys, I'm kind of a React Andy it's not a big stance, okay?
Well, that's not what I showed. I showed you consistently a long, verifiable, documented history of like being an advocate for abolishing IP, showing you consistently that I have abolished my own IP restrictions in my own community with the own content that I personally create, shown you that like other people have criticized me for reacting to shit, showed you that I even got DMCA'd with a false DMCA claim for reacting to Gordon Ramsay, showed you a Twitter thread where I actually defended Trainwrecks being the original MasterChef React Andy.
That was years after. That was the year you guys began watching it. You understand?
So
okay.
I haven't switching you guys.
Let's agree to disagree and we can move on.
Wait, what? No,
you can't do that. You can't do that. I'm trying. You can't.
Why can I not do that? So if I remember an account, but there's no clip, I have it cannot be true. That's what you're saying.
Well, but
I'm saying it from his perspective, if he doesn't remember it that way, you can't show it to him. He can't take your points for granted and give you an apology.
And there's also evidence. Let me ask you this. There's also evidence to the contrary where I'm defending him. I feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit.
I'm losing my mind because listen, logically speaking, there wouldn't be an outcry when you and Pokey began watching MasterChef. There wouldn't be an outcry compared to the year
I don't even know what you're talking about. The outcry that I got for watching MasterChef wasn't because of some perceived hypocrisy that you cooked up in your community. The outcry that I got was the same exact outcry.
There were streamers that commented on it as well. I
don't know who those streamers are, but if you could show them to me, I would love to also address that as well. But the only person that you have openly criticized was XQC calling you out for watching Gordon Ramsay or something or MasterChef.
Well, I think,
never myself at the time, possibly because I had never actually talked shit about that. Okay. And not only that, but also there's evidence of me reacting to TV shows all the way back in 2019 as well, for the record, if anyone cares about that.
Yeah. Okay. I think sometimes we get caught up. Okay. Based on if we think somebody's against us or not, then if they make a whatever comment, things might feel a certain way or another. That's just kind of how it is. Okay? I called out Train, calling out. I don't think I've ever called out anybody for anything. Okay, or not a lot. But it just feels like I bend with people. I'm a massive React Andy. I'll call people React Andies. Is that a problem? Not really. Okay. I think this point we have to move on. We will stay here stuck forever. Okay. Listen. The main point. One of the points
but I do want to make sure that like we're making amends, right? I'm sorry for cutting you off. We're making amends, right? You said that. So one part of doing that is
showing
to be like,
of a pattern of behavior. Yes.
Okay. If we can't find evidence of that, okay, unfortunately, for this the sake of this argument, I said unfortunately because it's for the sake of this argument and your perspective, we can't fulfill that, and we can't make anybody do anything.
Well, let's move on to the next. Yes.
Okay.
This conversation isn't preventing us from being friends or preventing us from putting away the past.
I personally don't care about it. I personally don't care about it, but only because like it's been so consistent over the course of like many years at this point that like I just kind of avoid it. Like I don't really talk about it. I don't really like to think about it, and it is festered on Reddit. It's festered on Twitch, where like a lot of people do have this false notion. Where I guess maybe some of them think that I'm like a hypocritical person for shitting on you for reacting while reacting myself, even though it very clearly is not real. So for me, I just want to make sure that you understand, like I don't think I ever did that, but if I did and you show that to me, I will absolutely apologize to you.
Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I generally think that you guys will both go against your earlier point, okay, to make amends on something so simple in nature. Okay, I want to get to the bigger points that are more impactful. Okay, things that I think make a lot of damage in your communities and create a wedge. Generally, I do think that. Listen, I'm not gonna blame viewers. I think certain reactions, certain things that people do will create a wedge because the viewers are going to far that wedge and push it farther. That happens. It does 100%. Which brings me to the point where Train is talking to Will Neff about the Turkey charity, and then things slide completely out of control, and then Hasan and then calls out Train for critical gambling. You want me to link to the thread or not? Because remember, this happened like this week.
He knows he knows what it is. I know what it is. Yes.
Okay. Then how about Train? You walk me through your initial point. What did you say to Will, and what did you say?
So I went into the call initially to
if you can find a clip, that would be very helpful.
Reach out or
chatter.
to put out
that'd be very
branch,
helpful.
Right. I was talking about how I love the podcast, among other things, right? And then the conversation came up. He brought that up as an example, and I clarified the example because at the end of the day, olive branch or not, I think there's an avenue regarding the socialism in which Hasan preaches but doesn't act with, right? There's that avenue where I don't think we'll ever come to terms with together, right? So that is the disconnect. I don't know if him and I will find that middle ground for, but that didn't come up because I went on there to talk about it. That just kind of came up passively. If you watch the clip, the entire clip, that was generally a positive call, right? I think he kind of saw the clip and he picked those like 10 seconds out.
Train.
Unless Hasan doesn't feel that way.
Wait, there's a clip here from 4 years ago that a chatter found. Hold on, can I just listen to something?
To be on his podcast, and then shits on me, or comes into.
Oh, this is when I first got upset at you for shitting on me. As far as socialism being no, that's not that. I thought that was related to Reactgate shit.
Go ahead.
As far as like socialism being at odds with my mode of existence. That is another thing that I am very. That is another thing that I've been very consistent on with respect to like having anti-capitalist values while simultaneously still being a fucking dumbass who likes commodities that are luxurious. That has been a consistent talking point for myself for a very long time. So I don't know why you think that ultimately conflicts. Socialism is not a poverty cult. Socialism or anti-capitalism or wanting to make things at least marginally better for working class Americans is not, no matter how much people say, oh, lol, Bernie Sanders has 3 houses fucking owned or whatever the fuck. That is not at odds with the way I live. This is a point of contention, though. I will agree. There's broad debate on the subject matter. There's many different kinds of ways of approaching it, but ultimately it's about the relationship to the means of production. That's it. That's all this is, and it's about giving workers more autonomy. It's not about doing charity. Okay, I've never said socialism is charity, even though I myself engage in charitable acts. I've been fairly consistent on that as well. With respect to just doing it regardless of whatever people say, even if they shit on me. I think XQC can advocate for that as well. I've literally had private conversations with them many years ago even about like, it's a good thing. People will shit on you regardless. You should still do it. But yeah, socialism is exclusively and almost entirely about the relations of the means of production and how society is developed around the current organization of the economy and how commodities are produced.
Okay. So you're saying that if there's a distinct point in what he sees socialism and the action you can do to further socialism, and okay, it makes sense. Do you agree with what he said? Did you hear what he said?
No.
He says that socialism, right, is more the means of production and the worker stuff, and not the whole spread the wealth thing. And I think you say, oh, he should spread the wealth more type shit, right?
I would agree. So
yeah,
I would agree
with spreading the wealth is not socialism. If that was the case, then Jeff Bezos would be the #1 socialist. You know what I mean? He albeit a very minor part of his overall wealth, he gives back fucking hundreds of millions of dollars. That he would be literally a socialist if that was the case.
So I think the point is this, right? Preaching socialism without action is literally just capitalism. Do you understand? If you preach the idealistic way that society should operate, yet you don't implement any of those systems, right, within your own, let's say proportionally within your own community, to show that these systems can work. Just wait.
No. I love that. No, that's actually a great point. It's a great point, and it unfortunately fails to capture how inescapable capitalism is. Do I benefit from it? Absolutely. I'm a profoundly fortunate person, something that I regularly acknowledge and talk about all the time. I'm very privileged. I'm very fortunate. These are things that I do not hide. I'm wealthy. Another thing that I do not hide. I don't know why people always say that I hide it, but
do you understand that?
If cooperatives can work individually, and I can point to socialization working in other countries, for example, like in European social democracies like Norway, even in Canada, it works better than the United States, even though it has its flaws. So there are instances of like socialization, not socialism, working in other countries, and yet that has still not changed people's minds in the United States of America. So I don't know why you think that like something completely and entirely removed from socialism itself, which would be me, like, I guess, doing socialism in my own community. I don't know how you would do that, but I would love to hear your perspective. I don't know how that would genuinely change people's minds in that regard. But as far as like my own form of commodity production, I work with union labor in union shops in the United States of America, and it's domestically manufactured when I do merchandising. And I have some form of cooperative organization where the people that I work with, not my workers per se, but people that I work with, whether it be my producers or editors, have full autonomy over their times, full autonomy over how much they make, full autonomy over a percentage of the profits or even more. Not only that, but they also have editorial independence, like in the case of Ostonox, who can say what he wants, and I'm not going to, go after him unless he's making an erroneous mistake. So that's
Which
it.
He has
that's my perspective, and I think I try to live by my values as best as possible, and I think I do a decent job, I think, at that.
That perspective is convenient, in my opinion. Like, it's a convenient perspective to have, right? Like, if I would accept that perspective.
Wait, why is it convenient?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. So everything that you do would be completely fine, right? If you moved away from these extremisms, right? And you moved more so to the middle, and you're like, okay, listen, guys, I'm a capitalist, but I believe in socialist systems to be mixed in with the capitalistic systems to create a better society, right? To grab the good of both. You understand? But the problem is you're completely shitting on capitalism. You're completely eat the rich, anti-capitalist.
I'm losing you again. Everyone can hear you except for me. I'm sorry. Can you hold on? We're gonna have to do this again one more time. Let me turn off the camera and turn it on again. Oh, I can hear you again. Thank you. I have a Discord issue. Sorry. I really do want to hear what you have to say. Can you start from the top?
Yeah. Can I juice up real quick then? Since we had a little disconnect.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He's got to juice up. It takes a second. Okay. Yeah.
Wait, I want to.
I'll let him explain his own thing.
What?
But he's got to juice up. You never juice up?
Listen, let
him juice up. Like, come on, what the fuck is this?
We disconnected. It's gonna be a little juice up.
Yeah, by the way, this is the internal service on page 3. Fair. By the way, about juicing up. Yeah, I'm not gonna paraphrase what you said. I'm just gonna go through it. Also, there's a bunch of actual interesting points that I have that I had made note of. So I didn't want this to get too sidetracked. I am taking notes though about things that I think you guys can make amends on.
Okay.
Like the earlier point, I think the first point, I think you owe him some sort of a comment, and on the second point, he owes you one. I think you guys are like 1-to-1 on the things that you guys should say to each other. But I mean, I'm trying to be. I'm just saying. I do.
I'm laughing at one of your chatters. I'm actually one guying in your chat. Hasan absolutely hates the fact that he can't peddle out cheap merch made in China for 4 cents because he built his brand around being the SJW guy. That is an incredibly cynical perspective, and I know that is only shared by people who literally cannot see that people sometimes actually do end up living their values. That says more about you, Aniram, than myself. I'm going to be honest with you. If you want to get lectured, I can do that for you right now. But that just only shows how cynical you are. It's no different than like Aiden Ross constantly being like, "Oh, everyone is in it for the money." It's like, yeah, bro, you are. Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway,
okay, but now I want to hear Trainwrecks's perspective on the issue.
Trainwreck. Yeah. Well, I guess it would be Trainwrecks in that situation, or maybe Trainwrecks. Anyways.
Okay. Jesus. Go ahead. Say anything about the socialism, capitalism type shit.
Okay, so if you moved your like ideations or whatever the fuck you call it, more so to I'm a capitalist, but I believe in socialist values. I believe in socialist systems. I believe in more of a mix, right? If you pushed it more to the middle left, it would make sense to exactly what you do. It would make sense to your entire business model. But to sit there and
address why it's conflicting.
Oh, I'm getting there. But to sit there, right, and to sell, right? Think about this, okay? Your entire business model, in my opinion, is that of a capitalist business model, right? You sell how the world should be, right? While justifying not implementing those very systems of how the world should be by saying you're just participating in society. That's fine. You can participate in society, but at the very least, in the position that you're in, making what you make, in my opinion, the words are not enough. You should be implementing these very systems within your own community to show that these systems work. Do you understand? On a proportional level, if you cannot implement the very systems you preach that should be implemented within America into your community of 30,000, then I would just say you're grandstanding and you're just selling an idea to make money yourself, right? Like
that's great.
To me, that's
a great point. That's a great point. You're absolutely correct on it if your understanding of what I advocate for was sound. And I think this is a normal misunderstanding, and a lot of people have this misunderstanding. I just gave you examples of a relation that I have where I am producing commodities with the help of others that are involved in the process. And I told you that I utilize, when I am actually producing commodities, utilize the same values that I uphold, okay? Whether it be unionized domestic employees that I am, whenever I'm working on merchandise, or whether it be having a cooperative podcast or having full autonomy and having everyone set their own wages with relation to how much profit or how little profit a certain venture makes. That is as close as you can get to like multiple different formations of trade unionism, an anarcho-syndicalist perspective, and also some level of socialism. So from that perspective, you are objectively incorrect. In most other circumstances, I have no control over it. There's nothing I can do. Like as far as turning Amazon into a cooperative corporation, I can't do that. It is a massive, almost $1 trillion operation that I have no control over.
Okay, so what you're saying is that for you, the socialism aspects are only the means of production and the workers and the fact that the unionize or not. It's all about the workers. Okay, I have a question then. When you have a podcast, the Fear and Pod, how much are the guests and producers paid on that show?
1/3 of the entire revenue.
The guests are paid?
No, the guests are not paid. The guests can come on voluntarily, of course. If they would like to get paid, we would, of course, pay them if there was like a guest fee or anything. But we don't pay guests. We're not interested in having a guest on specifically to make money. I don't think that would be weird. I think
that makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, March gets 1/3 of the entire revenue generated at the moment from the Fear End podcast operation, which you can go and subscribe to at patreon.com/fearend.
Listen, every system that you mentioned in which you apply your socialist values to, you are making money from these systems, and that's fine. That's okay. But the areas that I think should be more consistent in are the ones where you take a percentage of your wealth. Now, listen, this argument that your chat gives, or you give, or your loyalists give, of, oh, so if you're a socialist, you have to be broke on the streets, that example in itself has to be the most delusional, extreme example. Why combat?
I don't know what you're talking about. Explain what you mean. I'm a little slow. I'm a dumb guy. I need you to break it down for me a little bit. I'm serious.
Okay.
What do you mean? I just gave you an example of where I do this, and I want you to explain what you mean.
What I mean is, do you not preach a society where healthcare is free, a society where education is not as backwards as it is in America today, right? These systems, in my opinion, you are in a position where if you truly believe that implementing these systems are a real thing, you are in a position to do something that matches what you say. Otherwise, you're just selling false hope in a business model fashion, which is capitalism, right? In a nutshell, to make the money. That's easy to do, but you are in a position to do more. Do you understand?
Do you want me to open up a hospital? Because I think you're.
It's not about opening up a hospital. It's not.
What is it about? Give me specific examples of what I can do, so I can tell you if it's like feasible or not.
Okay, so for example, I know a lot of your vocal minority community argue that the mental health care program is a charity, right? But that program, the part of the charity that it is just the part in America. If we were to implement that program, right? Taxes would pay for the program. In this situation,
absolutely.
Real quick. In this situation, we don't have that luxury, right, of having a tax system to draw a lot of money from the people. So what's replacing it is the charity aspect. To confuse that the system itself is a charity it's not comparable to the excuse of not doing it.
Are you asking me to provide everyone in my community health care?
I'm asking you to follow through with what you say. So to create, the system, create education as well, right? You could create a system in which you put a percentage aside that you believe the rich should put aside in America, and you implement that on a small scale to show that, listen, guys, this works. If we can do it, so can America. If you can't even do it yourself and you give these excuses.
So you want me to set up like a 501c3 specifically to like pay the hospital bills of every single member in the community that pays?
No. It's about creating a system. You understand? Ignore the actual payment of. It's a system that reflects what you preach and delivers it to people who do not have the financial means to get what you believe they have a right to get. Do you understand? That's what it's about. That's what implementing, that's what the actions over the words means when you sit there and you preach what you preach on a daily basis and make millions from it, right? And that's okay to make millions from it. It's okay.
But Train.
But there needs to be an implementation of it.
You understand I'm not the government, right? Like
I just explained the proportional or the comparison between what would be right in this situation. You create a system, and through your own donation, you would be virtually the tax system that would pay for it in a governmental form, right?
Okay, like that's what you're describing. Where you're taking the long way to describe is literally, first of all, charity. For the record, insurance on the other hand,
the difference,
or taxes on the other hand. Insurance or taxes, which are two different ways of funding. Some form of healthcare or a payment mechanism for healthcare. Revolves around people paying into a system and then getting it back in the form of, adequate healthcare, right? This is how it works. So you and I are in agreement, I think, as far as how the government should operate this, right? I think you believe in free healthcare, right? I think.
I do, yes.
Okay,
healthcare is, I believe healthcare is a right?
So,
I believe
absolutely.
Our education system is completely backwards. I believe we should be encouraging students to go to school. We should be encouraging students. I believe the new baseline should be college. This idea where we're pushing that college is unnecessary, you can't apply this or that, I think is ridiculous. But I do think it stems from our backwards financial education system.
So right? how can I do what you're describing without building a hospital or building a 501c3?
I just explained it.
Wait,
I just explained, right? For example, the program I have, right? It's easy to compare the two and say, oh, it's a charity. No. The charity part of it is replacing the tax system in which the government would pay for that system. Since we don't have that tax system, taking a percentage of what you make, like you preach should happen for the rich, right? And putting it into that system, right? So what you make, a percentage of what you make going into that system would be replicating what the government has for taxes, right? We'd be taking it out of our pockets monthly right? For each respective community across Twitch, across YouTube, across Kick, across wherever.
Yeah, you're
right?
saying you want to start, if I'm not misunderstanding, you want to start like a healthcare structure for Twitch watchers that us Twitch streamers put together.
Yes.
Yes, us Twitch streamers, we put together a healthcare structure. Okay.
Is that socialism though? Is that
that's not? No, it's not. It's just,
okay.
but
So
it is. But it is nice. It's not socialism. That's not
distributing
socialism.
the wealth.
But it is nice. It is nice. It's a good idea. It's a charity.
Distributing the wealth of the rich into systems that give healthcare to the poor is exactly the values of socialism, is it not?
Yes, you're right. But by your logic, then, charities would be considered socialism, but it's not.
No.
And also, if charities eradicated the existence of these problems, if charities eradicated the existence of these problems, then in the United States of America, it's one of the most charitable countries on the planet. We would literally not have a single person die because they can't get their diabetes medication, which is why you have to advocate for the government, as I do all the time, not only put pressure on congresspersons, but like literally directly talk to them from time to time as well, and utilize my community to go vote a certain way. I am technically trying to do that in a grander scale. It's unfortunately very difficult to accomplish.
So let me ask you this. If the socialist himself cannot find a way to distribute a percentage of his wealth, who do you expect to do it? The fucking capitalist sitting at the top? It needs to start somewhere.
No,
it needs to start somewhere, right? If we can't do it on this level, how are you expecting a country of 335 million to implement it on that scale? We need to find a way to proportionally scale it within our business models, whether it's the charity aspect, replacing or replicating the tax system. Do you understand? Like, the action needs
you do realize countries have socialized healthcare, right? Like the UK has the NHS system. So like literally just pointing to that should be able to have a wake up moment for the minds of millions of Americans. But it still hasn't worked. So technically what you're saying is well intentioned. And I love that you're saying this, but it demonstrably doesn't work. I point to actively working socialized healthcare structures on a daily basis, and yet I have not been able to, individually at least, move the needle on getting Americans to get on board with Medicare for all. Neither did Bernie Sanders, again, unfortunately.
Okay.
We'll agree to disagree on that. And next topic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Wait, what? I don't know what the disagreement there is, though. I gave you an example of socialized healthcare working in a larger system, okay, and pointing to that. And yet that still doesn't get Americans on board in certain instances. But the reality is, even if all Americans were on board, okay, even if every single American, like the abortion ban, for example, were on board, 75% of Americans thought abortion should be protected. And yet the Supreme Court decided against it. Why? Because that's just how it is. When the rich and powerful get together and build billions of dollars worth of dark money funded super PACs and lobbying groups, they get their way regardless of what the Americans think or feel. And the same goes for healthcare as well, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry with a lot of people making money that you and I would look at and go, holy shit, that is a lot more money than we make. That is the unfortunate reality here. That's what we're going up against. So pointing to an example of like a charity individually working within my community or within Twitch, okay? That's a very nice thing to do.
It's a system.
And we can talk more about it.
Is disingenuous to be presented.
It's not disingenuous. There's nothing wrong with charity.
What he says though is that he says that inherently that's not the socialism that he's supposed to uphold, like you think he is. When he
so what socialism is so the socialism is
labor. His socialism that he pushes.
So the socialism that requires him to give no percentage of his money and only requires him to preach is the socialism he's for. You don't find that convenient?
Pay a decent amount of taxes in California, but that's not But I don't consider that to be social.
We legally
like
have
Keynesian
to.
economics that's wealth distribution, and I think that's adequate, and I think that's apt. I wish that billions of it wasn't used on fucking finding new and creative ways to like blow brown children in fucking school buses in Yemen, but unfortunately, that is what our American government has decided to spend it on. That is an unfortunate byproduct of living here. But even the meager amount of that goes back into funding the roads, funding the school system, I'm happy with and I'm comfortable with, and I talk about it during tax season all the fucking time. But if you think that like charity is socialism, then I
didn't say charity is socialism. I was referring to a system that we create as a streamer, and the charity aspect, right, which provides that system, would be the way we replicate the tax system, right? Within America, the government has a tax system which they would funnel their money into programs for the people who can't afford it. It would give people access to healthcare. It would cover certain educational costs to push education through. What I'm saying is we create a system, and since we do not have a tax system,
you're just
we can
swapping
use
the word charity for system, by the way. Like that's what you're doing, which is fine. Again, I have no issues with charity. I'm showing you the
difference, right? It's about creating the system, right? And the charity would be the pool of money used to fund that's the system that gives healthcare to your community to show that it works. What you preach works. You can take from the rich and provide for the poor, provide for the people who don't have the
real charities at the top of the hour,
security or the luxury.
Where there's a 3-minute ad break
in America, which is so.
And if you no longer want to see those ads, you can get gifted a sub.
Healthcare, right? To have basic educational costs covered. To push that, we need that kind of stuff, right? So I believe we need to act instead of just preach. Otherwise, where does it start? Where does the chain reaction start?
Yeah, this is a misunderstanding. I think he kind of agrees with you, right? But at the same time, when you say to uphold socialism, in his view, he does, because socialism is the means of production and the workers and the labor, right? That is his socialism. So even though he agrees with you, he still doesn't agree with the fact that you think that this is socialism when he said what his socialism is. Right, so that's what this disconnect is. So I do agree that there's a double effect.
Because what he's talking about is just charity, which is great. I love that as a concept, and I'm on board with it. It's just not. It's demonstrably failed to improve. That doesn't stop me from giving money to charities. All right, obviously, that doesn't stop me from funding money or doing fundraising for charities and also directly donating. But if what he was talking about as far as charities actually solved the issues, listen, the United States of America would have no healthcare issues.
To help you understand this, okay, take a look at my mental health care program, okay? Because you keep saying charity, okay? So yes, the money goes into the charity to hold, right? What I'm referring to is the system that's created, right? The viewer can now, that does not have access to healthcare, can now have a way through me taking a percentage of my wealth and putting it as a funding source to free healthcare. Ignore the charity part of it. It's the system. This is what I mean by actions over words.
Yes, you're right. If everyone was paying into, but in the form of taxes, if everyone was paying into the government and the government was like, we're going to take some of this money and we're going to build hospitals, we're going to build rural hospitals, which is a major problem as well in America. And we're going to make sure that everyone can get healthcare for free when they go into a hospital. That would be socialized medicine. It would not be socialism. It would be a form of socialization.
So couldn't you implement what you preach into a system like that for your community to have access to things that they don't have access to because of their financial means, right? Because of their financial situations. That's what I'm asking. It's easy to preach, I think
that is doable, certainly. It's not impossible. The problem in that situation would be that it would require me dropping everything I normally do and basically learn an entirely new set of skills. It would not be a system. It would, again, just be a charity, that a 501c3 that I would have to set up. And I, unfortunately, am a dumbass who doesn't know anything about setting up a 501c3, which is why I usually, just like you did, work with other 501c3s that are pre-existing in this regard. But again, I have raised and also funded more than $500,000 last year, which is a marginal amount in comparison to how charitable you are. You're a very charitable person. And this year so far, almost like $2 million, if I'm not mistaken, to various different causes. I don't think that is socialism. I just want to make that clear. I don't think that that's socialism. I do it because I think it's the right thing to do. I'm a very fortunate person, and I think the capacity to be able to give back is a good thing. That's why I do it. But even by that metric of like, if you think that building these sorts of systems is socialism, then I guess I'm a relatively socialist person.
I think it's right, for each individual, right? It's a value within themselves, right? So if you're making X and X amount of dollars, I believe because of the fortunate situation both you and I are in, I do believe in higher taxes for us. I do believe in both of us taking a percentage of our wealth and putting it into systems, right, that can distribute it to people and give them the baseline, what I believe to be a right, which is healthcare, education systems that pay for their schooling based on, let's say, hardworking students or whatever the hell that is, GPA, whatever you want to measure that by, right? That's what I believe. So what I'm saying is, I do think, ignore the charity aspect. I'm referring to the systems. The charity is just a funding pool in this comparison, right? I believe we should not just talk it, we should act on it. Right? So we should take a percentage of our wealth, whether it's 20%, 30%, 10%, whatever it may be, and put it towards systems that give what we believe to be a right to the people that don't have access to these things that I believe should be a right, right?
I think so the system you're describing is a 501c3 though, right? Like that's...
In this situation, the 501c3 would be provided, and all you would have to do, right? So let's hypothetically say for this mental health care program, right? Wouldn't you say, if you don't want to create that this is it's right there, right? It's a system you believe in for your community, right? So why
again you're
agree with I'm just agree.
Okay, go ahead.
Hasan doesn't even though he thinks these things are good and he wants to do those things, and sometimes he hasn't, or maybe he will in the future, he still doesn't view that as a fundamental socialism.
Wait, first of all, I do those things. Let's make it clear. I think I do a decent job at doing those things.
Yeah, but I still think he doesn't view that as the fundamentals of socialism, and that's not what he preaches.
Yes.
Therefore, he doesn't feel like you've gotten him on the, yo, dude, you haven't donated this much. Well, Hasan doesn't feel like you got him on not doing what he preaches, when this is not what he preaches in that regard to socialism. That's what he feels like.
So you're picking and choosing what aspects of socialism apply based on what you have to act on, what you don't. I'm confused.
I mean, ask Hasan.
So we're cherry picking what parts of socialism we want to preach, and those are dependent on which ones actually require you to distribute a percentage of your wealth into systems that distribute it to the people that are less for it seems like we're cherry picking what we have to act on and what we don't. It just seems very convenient to me.
I think that the fundamental disagreement here is that charitable donations is socialism, is like kind of your perspective here. I don't want to put words in your mouth, you can correct me, but that's all I've heard from you, as far as like maybe you don't say charitable donations, you say systems, but that's kind of what you're talking about. And that is fundamentally not true, which is fine. It's still fine, though. You're right. I think it's a good thing to, again, uphold charity and try to do your very best to help others who are less fortunate. But if you're asking me as someone who like at least describes the concept of what socialism is, that is not true. What you're describing is just fundamentally just a 501c3.
I feel like there's a disconnect for you and probably with others as well in what I'm referring to, okay? And the only reason, okay, let's take my mental health care program as an example of this, since it's the only thing I can show you in this regard that's on Twitch that can help you understand this, okay? So ignore the charity aspect of what's going on there, okay? That's there. The reason I had to work with them is because obviously as a streamer, right, we don't pay some sort of streamer tax within Twitch where we can funnel that money and put it towards systems we believe in, right? So ignore the charity aspect. Instead, compare it in this system, right? When I say system, I'm referring to the system where I take a percentage of my wealth monthly, put it into, let's say, a pot, and from there, access is given to viewers in my community that do not have access to mental health care, right? That charity is only replicating what the U.S. government, it's proportionally replicating, right?
Yes,
what the U.S. government has for a tax system.
What you're describing, yes, exactly. The main difference is voluntary donations versus taxes, right? And you're right.
That's the only way that we, right, proportionally as streamers.
You have to understand you're describing a charity when you keep explaining it, though. Like that's the charity that you work with, RAD, right? You work with RAD.
Yes.
Is a pre-established 501c3. It's a charity. So you are giving money to RAD, which is a wonderful thing. Okay, it's great.
It's a separate program, right?
Okay, it's a separate program. Sure.
It's a separate program within RAD. I'm using RAD to replicate what it would be
Mm-hmm.
in America using their tax systems to pay for mental health care. Do you understand?
You're not wrong. That is actually a very decent way. That is a very decent way to describe. That is a very decent way to try to describe socialized healthcare and why it's ethical and why it's the right thing to do. I agree with you if that is what you're saying as far as like socialized healthcare. It's still not socialism. So if you're asking me what socialism is, or if it conflicts with my values that I haven't like set up a 501c3 personally,
it's not about setting up. It's about taking a percentage of your wealth, like you preach, the rich should do, and doing it yourself and implementing it, right? So if you understand? So do you do that? Do you take a percentage, 10, 20, 30% of your wealth and put it towards systems that give free healthcare to the people? Or are you just relying on the tax systems of America as your distributive wealth process?
I definitely do donate a lot more than just what the taxes are. Absolutely. I do. I don't know what percentage of my overall wealth that is, but yes, I absolutely do. Regardless, though, I don't think that is socialism. I do it not because it's socialism. I don't do it because I want to make like...
I think you're misunderstanding my point, right?
Look, my point is this. Billionaires have something called the Billionaire's Pledge. I don't know if you've ever heard about this. It's actually a very interesting concept, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
So, like the Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, numerous other billionaires, some of the wealthiest people on the planet have joined what they call, I believe, the Giving Pledge, which is, it's a, hold on, I'm going to pull it up real quick so I don't give you any false information here.
Why don't we start the Millionaire's Pledge and we play it on Twitch? And
yeah, no, hold on. Well, I'm going to talk about how fraudulent it is in a second.
Oh, shit.
The Giving Pledge is a commitment to philanthropy. The Giving Pledge is a promise by the world's wealthiest individuals and families to dedicate the majority of their wealth to charitable causes. Now, the issue is that this is just simply a PR move for them. They do this because they set up their own charitable donations, their charitable contributions, and they put all of their stock options into that charity in an effort to avoid taxes, right? That is the main reason why they do this. That way they can look like they're giving back while, buying from or buying whatever the fuck from they want from the pool of funds, utilizing it as a tax cut. It turns into a non-taxable entity, right? This is but even if this wasn't, even if this was like an earnest thing, an honest thing, it still would not make Bill Gates, for example, funds malaria research, who has funded vaccine research, as a matter of fact, as well.
Okay.
This would not make Bill Gates a socialist.
Okay, Hasan, I think I got you again. He feels like if you were to englobe what social media as a whole, he wants you to emulate and enforce that version of socialism on a smaller scale in order to create and show that this is what you uphold, right? And instead of what he thinks, you're pushing more radicalized ideas when you're kind of like not doing that, all the way out there. You're kind of just staying a little bit in the middle in terms of your actions. That's what he thinks. From my understanding, this is what Train thinks. Generally.
Yes, he has a different opinion on what praxis is. This is a term we use in leftist communities. And he thinks that this is what praxis is, like socialism in action. I fundamentally disagree, and yet I still actually do engage in the thing that he's talking about.
Me too. I just don't tell anybody about it because it's useless.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't used to tell people about it either, but obviously a lot of people kept saying, much like Train, Hasan, you're fake, you don't practice what you preach, you don't give back to people, which is a false understanding of socialism in general. So I did start telling people about it. And now they say I do it for clout, which, of course, I always knew it was going to be a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. So I just do whatever the fuck I think is the right thing to do, and I keep my fucking head down and do it.
Right. So
even your chat, your entire chat is capping right now. Your entire chat. Like, there will never be charitability to anything, and I don't even expect it. Like, it's just...
No, this thing kept to me because I said I do charitable stuff and whatever because in terms of education because I am my own shit, but I don't. It's freaking lame. Whether they think that I do or not, or they accept it and they validate the amounts or not, I think it's useless to talk about it. I just do it because it helps, and I'm sure down the line, somebody that was helped by one of these things when they're balling out and they're millionaire, they will do the same thing, and there's domino effect. I truly believe that giving back into systems like healthcare, like education, when somebody is a recipient of these things. When they ball out, there's a good chance they'll do the same because this resonates hard with them. It creates a domino effect, and the more people do, the more it resonates and the more it grows. That's just how it is. That's my perspective. That's my view on it. But I don't think I still don't think that's socialism though.
It's not. I don't think you're you would say you're a socialist, or you would be a socialist for doing that. I don't think Train is a socialist for doing the charitable donations, the rad.
The system itself would be a socialist one. Do you understand? The system, the idea of it, not the actual donation.
Well, I also personally gave you an
system.
example. I gave you an example of like a commodity production or creating something new and different that in the form of like the podcast, it is a cooperative style governance, I guess.
Would you agree everything you've mentioned that you do that you believe is aligned with your ideas of socialism, you profit from? Don't you think that's
yes.
just a little distant?
Yes, no, that's literally okay. See, this is perfect. Thank you for saying this. This is literally the fundamental misunderstanding. Socialism is not about doing things because you're a nice guy. Socialism is just about who is producing the shit and how much more freedom they get.
There is a difference in profiting more from the preaching or the ideas of the socialism, right? It's not like you're making a business, right? And then you're giving
that is a business. What I described to you is a business. What I described to you is a cooperative formation of a corporation.
A percentage of everything that you do in the name of socialism should go towards systems?
Train, you're not understanding. Train, you're not understanding what I'm saying. Train,
okay, continue.
You literally, okay. There are many different ways of democratizing a workplace or democratizing an economic organization of society. One of those, okay, is a cooperative corporation, okay? That is precisely why my producer, who is producing the labor, who's creating part of the podcast, who sets up the Patreon and whatnot, and sets up the cameras, for example, that person is getting 1/3 of the overall revenue, okay? That is inherently a socialist formation. He also has autonomy. He also gets to say, I want to do it on this day. I want to do it on that day. Okay, I want to do the podcast on this day. These are things that we democratically decide. Now, this is a cooperative corporation. That is actually closer to like what is literally socialism, at least in a corporation, a socialist organization of the economy within the corporation, than anything else that you have described. That would be one form or one aspect of democratization of the workplace. Okay? That is actually what you want out of me. I'm already doing that. But if you're talking about like setting up a system or
so how does
whatever
that
you
work
want to call it, charity.
How does that work with Twitch then? So you bring up the podcast. How does that work with Twitch, right? Let's say hypothetically you're making $6 to $10 million from an ad heavy deal, right? Which if you show that deal, which you can't because you're binded by a contract.
Do you think I should pay my viewers for watching me?
Not Twitch? Pay your. I'm referring to you bring the podcast up as 1/3. Are you paying, right, a percentage or something proportional to the millions that you're making off Twitch, right? Is that something you're doing as a socialist, right? Does that carry over to your Twitch? So sure, I believe you for your podcast.
To who? To what?
To editors, to moderators.
Yes.
So you're paying moderators or a head of moderation?
No, not editors and not moderators. I do have a compensation mechanism for my moderators. Okay. It is not one that I often publicize, specifically because I don't want moderators to come on board exclusively because they want to, use this as a job opportunity. There is a compensation mechanism but I don't like talking about it specifically because, like I said, I want moderators to be a part of the community and not necessarily working and not necessarily doing it as labor, which is most of the reason why I try to, as best as I can, maintain all of the other avenues of moderation on my own, whether it be running ads, which, by the way, I should be running at least a middle of the hour ad break and things of that nature.
Wait, let's stop. Everyone, both of you are on your
ad deals. As far as hold on. As far as editors goes, yes, of course, I pay editors directly. I pay editors directly out of. Wait, I don't know what he's. I don't know why he's saying.
I was saying play your minute ad and I'll juice up.
No. Anyway. Listen. as far as payment structures goes for my editors, they are the ones who make their pay. In many instances, they're making more. They are the ones who I routinely have a conversation with, where they're the ones who dictate what their pay is. I'm routinely paying them. Oh!